Hey, Cicely, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Were there any, specific things that you wanted to go over today before I got into some of the stuff I wanted to teach?
Yes, I had three questions.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me send one now. Alright. Just sent you over some questions. Um,
Are they in the chat?
oh, I forgot I can do that. Let me hold
Well,
on.
okay, you sent them through the email?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let me go in there. Pull them out. I'm coming. Waiting on the email to open up.
Fine.
Hmm. Here we go. All right. So, okay. What are the typical peak and staffing levels required for events at the Classic Center and Aikens Ford Arena? What is the average annual? Um, let's see. Average annual numbers of events at the each facility, and what is the typical advance notice provided for staffing requests? Okay. The CCA require contractor personnel to operate under existing emergency operation plan. Da 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 da. Are yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. So these are questions that you need answered before you prepare the statement of qualifications.
Yes and no. Just I know we needed to submit these questions before by tomorrow. I wanted to make sure I probably wouldn't look at if I didn't have any questions to submit. Um,
Okay. Okay. So so you we'll look at it again, but according to what they sent to us, if you have any questions regarding preparing the qualification, the statement of qualification, the deadline to enter questions regarding the statement of qualification, if you need a clarification regarding the statement of qualifications, is tomorrow. Um,
I read that wrong.
let's because what they're trying to do is see if they're going to qualify you to see if your company is equipped to do this job. So let's go through here. I'm looking at the okay, and also I sent you it wasn't a suggestion, it was instructions that you needed to reach out to certain individuals, specifically those who are part of the network,
Hmm.
um, to help you write, because one person doesn't need to try to write this whole statement of qualifications. So each individual that you teamed up with, because this needs to be done as a team,
Hmm.
would need to be responsible for the areas, the scope of the statement of qualifications that they were concerned with. They gave you a breakdown of what they wanted to see in the statement of qualifications, right? So
Hmm.
each person should have been given the assignment to go ahead and write that to make sure that they're doing all the research and covering everything to submit um, a statement of qualifications that shows that your company, that one person didn't prepare it, because you can look at it and tell if one person, if you got a vantage point of several different people that are preparing the different requirements involved, it's going to be a better statement of qualifications. I'm trying to choose my words, But did you get a chance to do that, or are you walking through this yourself?
That was so I had three questions. That was the three. I did see the instructions in the chat that we had talked about. I wanted to know how I understood what you were saying. I don't disagree with that at all, of course. How do I present it in the school community? Like I've never, so obviously, I've never done this before. So I'm trying to make sure I
Well, I
don't
did.
go
I
complete
suggested
anywhere.
some people as well. I
Ye-
suggested complete admin. I suggested A Wilson Enterprise because they definitely
Yeah.
specialize in, but neither one of them. Well, one of them doesn't know anything about it.
Yes, I'm not saying you didn't suggest them. I'm saying how do I present it to them? That's what I'm saying. What's that conversation look
I
like?
got
I
an
don't.
opportunity for a multi-million-dollar contract. I need you to help me write the statement of
Okay.
qualifications. This is how it's broken down. This is what they're looking for in the statement of qualifications. Let me send you what they sent me. These are the components. I need you to tell me which part of the components that you can handle. Can you handle? Don't just wait for them to answer you because there's no time for that. Um, can you handle stability and resources, which is a part of the one of the components? You know, another person, can you handle experience and qualifications? Complete admin would be the perfect one for that because they know how to put together that for anything, whatever you could be standing on your head in the middle of the air. I taught them personally, so I know they know how to put together the experience and qualifications for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other part of it is suitability. So you could give them, and then it tells you, um, and the reason why you want to give that experience and qualifications to complete admin, and then maybe give a portion of it to a Wilson Enterprise as well, because 45% of whether or not you're gonna get the contract is based on that. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those two things, and maybe you could handle sustained suitability and stability. But all you got to do is tell people, I just got an opportunity from the state of Georgia to submit a statement of qualifications on a potentially multi-million-dollar contract. Everybody wants in. And what I'm doing is, I'm giving the opportunity to create a team to help me write the statement of qualifications because that's the very first step before we can be considered for submitting a request for proposal. You just do a video and drop it in there. And to do a video, really, you when you go to make a comment in school, it gives you an opportunity to do a video.
Yes, I know how to do that part. It
And
really was just I didn't
and
know how to present it.
oh
I know
yeah.
how to do the video
And
part.
make
I
sure
know
you
that
and
part.
make sure you click
I,
the part about sending it to everybody's email. Don't wait for them to go in there and see it. Click click the option to make sure it goes to everybody's email. But it's just that simple. It doesn't when you're talking to the school community, it doesn't have to be that formal. Because once you say this thing, when I went and calculated, I was like, this could be anywhere upwards from 10 to 20 million dollars because of the period of time that they want it to be done.
mm-hmm.
You follow me? This contract is extensive. And the fact that you even got an opportunity to it says a lot about provisions that are being made for you. You know what I mean? Doors that are being opened for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to take every step. So I didn't know that you needed, but you got it now. You know what to do.
Yes, it is which was the other question I had. Trying to balance all this out.
What's going to pay you millions of dollars? Nothing. You have
No, I,
nothing in your life right now that's going to pay you that. Your job, number one, because that's what's paying your immediate bills.
mm-hmm.
You with me? The
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to do something that will put you in a position because let's say you put this statement. I want to show you how it works. Let's say you submit your statement of qualifications and you don't get in the runnings for the contract at all. Guess what just happened? You just gave them your statement of qualifications. So whoever they give the bid to, they're going to automatically say this company submitted their statement of qualifications. You want to use them to subcontract this.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have the opportunity to make millions off of this. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't submit it at all or you do a half job, then you take yourself out of the opportunity. So your job, your immediate job, because that's what's feeding you, then opportunities like this will be second. In all due respect, church is last. And I'm going to tell you why church is last. Because church takes, but it doesn't give back. What you want to give to the Lord, you give it to the community, right? Church takes, but it doesn't give back. Not church. The kingdom of God is always giving, and the kingdom
Mhm.
of God uses you as a vessel to give. But church is a Pac-Man. It takes, but it does not give back. Do you
Mhm.
understand? So you
Mhm.
have to limit what you're going to give to church programs.
That
Because,
wasn't even the question I was going to ask, Mom. I didn't even get to finish my
but no, no,
question.
no. I'm just telling
Okay.
you. But go ahead. I thought you
That
meant
wasn't
prioritizing.
no prioritizing, not even prioritizing. The hours I work at work is I've been trying to figure out how to balance that, the immediate job and this. I'm not even talking about church. Church doesn't. I understand where the priorities need to lie, most definitely. Um, I get home
But
and
that's
I
why I
pass
told you to
out.
delegate.
Right, which is why I was, and even
And
just
that
trying
was a
to.
week ago.
Yes, I have.
7 days ago. We lost 7 days.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, yes, madam hmm
It's here's the thing. I know it's so here's the thing. With this contract that I was working 12 hours a day, right? But
hmm
even before that, you guys didn't know it because I don't say much about it. But I have obligations to the Wazoo. All of them are clients.
hmm
And I have to get it's no you choose your own hours. No. They say they need this stuff back whenever. And
hmm
that means I gotta sun up to sundown, picking that. I got it. You follow? It's not a choice of I barely have opportunity to go to the restroom because that is my bread and what?
hmm
Butter. So I hear what you're saying. You're probably thinking, well, she doesn't punch a clock, but baby, it's the same thing.
That's not even what I said. I wasn't thinking that at
Because
all.
I got to get it to him, and if I don't get it to him, that's the contract. That's how I eat,
hmm
you know. So I'm not telling you anything that I don't understand. It is exhausting to be able to work that job that you have to work in order to make ends meet.
hmm
And then come off them 12 hours that you work in there. It's 12 hours because you got to get up
It's
long
more than
before.
12 hours. I work more than 12 hours. That's why I was saying I
Yeah.
work from 3:30 to sometimes 7 o'clock at night. I get home. It's not that I'm not trying to work. I fell asleep with my laptop on my chest, pen and paper. Like it's not. So that's what I'm saying. It's not that I don't understand. I'm not
Delegate.
questioning you. I'm not even saying I didn't want to delegate. I don't normally have time to respond, or I. Not that I don't want to respond to text messages. I'm normally exhausted, so I forget to even respond back to people in text messages. Look at something haphazardly, and then I'll move on. So I was really
So
just asking for advice. How do
to
you balance all of that?
so
Because I'm
today,
struggling.
so we'll pretend like this was last Sunday, even though we needed those 7 days. It's all right. Send to today
hmm
when that job can't have you today. Okay,
hmm
if they're gonna pay you some serious overtime, which I'm
hmm
here for it. Um, so today, when we finish, if you have an opportunity, make an opportunity. Send an email and a text to the people that we talked about.
hmm
Attach this to it. Follow up and make sure today, in moments, in a matter of moments, to make sure that they got it. Because the only time that they can actually look at it, because they're stretched to the extent
Right, which I also
you have to
understand.
catch them, but see, they can do hours worth of work on Sunday. So that would have been last Sunday and this Sunday.
Excuse me.
I ain't gonna let you go by that last Sunday because we needed that.
hmm
I'm on you about it because other stuff is gonna come up. This is not the only opportunity you're gonna get. What should have happened as soon as we talked, I don't care where you had to be, it wasn't gonna bring this kind of money. So that should have gone into them. We didn't do it then. Let's do it now. Send out this memorandum that they sent you via email to the folks we talked about. Follow up, make sure they got it, make sure you send it to the right email address for them. Does that make sense?
hmm
Get them on the phone. See if you can set something up tonight where you can talk to them maybe 15 minutes. You know, it could be Zoom, virtual, whatever, or it could be on the phone. You can set up a virtual right there in the Zoom community. I mean, the school community, because at the same time that you're trying to figure out how to do this, others are getting a chance to see how you're walking through it, and they may have suggestions. They may have information. You don't know who you know what I mean?
hmm
They may chime in, so you can actually make your conversations public on in the school community. Just you all trying to figure out how to put it together. This only has four components to it, and one of them they only carries about 15% of their decision, right? So actually, it's got three components to it. That's not a lot. especially if you're getting help to help you do it. But whoever those out of the people that you're going to use, you got to capture them on Sundays because they as busy as you are or
Hmm.
beyond,
Yeah, I understand.
if that's
Hmm.
possible.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
if they can devote an hour to it, that's all you need. Those two, because what they can give you out of an hour is exceptional,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Then that only leaves a very small amount for you to add to it. Even if you can only grab 15 minutes of thought to to put it together each day. 15
Hmm.
minutes of thought each day to now add to what it is that they've done. And now, if it were me, I would give them the lion's share. I would give one the stability and resources, and the other one experience and qualifications. Because whatever you give complete admin, you're gonna have to facilitate it, and you're gonna have to annex it because they're stretched. They're stretched because they're in school. What everything that's going on with them
Hmm.
in a job that never ends,
Hmm.
quite like yours. So,
I completely understand.
but that's why you're reaching for help so that they can help you, so that so much of it is not on you. You follow me?
Hmm.
And then if you get a chance, what they're sending you, send it to me. Because see, I intended to do what I could to help too. But
Hmm.
I'm just going to be adding finishing touches, stuff that I know they want to see, that they're not asking for in here, but I know they want to see it,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
Yeah. Did that help at all?
Hmm.
Okay. So the answer I gave you is that you don't really have much time that you can manage. Neither do they. But if you give it to them and help them you don't have to, it's not going to be a lot of trouble helping them to understand how much money is involved in this, right? And
Hmm.
helping them to understand that even if you don't get the contract, this now places you in visibility for the subcontract, which is still a lot of money at somebody else's expense. So they pay the bulk of the money for setting it up, and all you have to do is come in with your people that you contract to get this done, and um staff the times that they need the security.
Yes.
Maybe it's making sense. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. If you want to present those questions, you know, go ahead and present them because you are going to need the answers at some point, and you don't want some smart aleck to come back and say, "Well, the time that you had to ask those questions is already passed." But they're clearly stating any questions that you have about this statement of qualifications. But I wouldn't wait like you're doing. I wouldn't wait. I'd go ahead and present them. And all of those are viable questions. Now, I can tell you a couple of them. They're going to say um, that by the mere fact that you're asking the questions means that you're not sure of how to compile certain information. Like when you ask about the typical peak staffing levels required for the event, these two events at the arena, they're going to say that's information that you can gain. That's public information. So that's information that you could gain without reaching out to them. But go ahead and ask them anyway, you know. But you've got some people who,
Well,
when
no,
you
that's
ask,
why. But that's why I wasn't trying. I don't want to come off like that. I don't want to come off as I'm inexperienced. That's why I'm asking. That's why I didn't send it off. That's why I'm asking. Because I don't want to come off as if I'm asking something that I should already know or miss. I don't want to ask. Not for lack of a better way. So, but I don't want to ask a dumb question. I don't want to ask a question that leaves me out there
that's
looking
one.
vulnerable or like I'm an idiot. I don't want to go out like that.
That's
That's why I
one.
presented it to you
Okay,
first to make sure that
that's
I'm not
one.
asking something that where I
I
look
got
like,
you.
well, girl, this is something you should already know. That's
I'm
why I'm
with
at.
you. Now I know how to navigate. It's your opportunity, and I don't want to. I'm trying to not overstep. That question is one that we could do research and get that answer without.
Well, and you say not overstepping. I want to bring back. We've trained and learned a lot, and I'm walking this out in real time now. So I know we've done a lot of things where I understood it in theory. We're walking it out in real time. For me, I know I always say it's not overstepping. If I'm
Okay,
doing something
okay.
I don't under, you know, if I need
That's
to
what I'm
say
here
something,
for.
I don't understand it.
Gotcha.
Like I don't like some things that come natural for some people that doesn't come natural for me. So I'm like I'm gonna miss, I'm gonna miss something and I don't want to miss it. I don't want to
I'm
miss this
with you.
opportunity that I have before me. I
I'm
do want
with
to
you.
capitalize on
Okay. Then that
it.
we're in
It's
it
not
together. Then I
definitely
got
to
you.
me.
Okay. So I can take I'll take liberties. Of course, I'm going to talk to you first. I'm not driving, but
Yeah.
that's one that you don't want. We can get that answer.
Okay.
Hmm. We can also get the second answer, the average number of events at each facility. Yeah. Now, the way that they typically do when they give you a contract, I know you want to know what kind of advance notice do you get to know that you need to staff these things. But the way you set up the staffing for these contracts, you don't staff it per event. You go ahead and staff this contract at the beginning. So let's say you got the contract and they say to you, for the next 5 years, 48 months, 60 months, I'm sorry, you're going to be responsible for the security of both facilities. That includes this, that, and the other, whatever it is, they'll outline it in the contract. Not, I mean, this contract will be like this thick, or a novel, huge. Thicker than your wilderness is a mirror. The contract will be thick, okay? So it's going to outline most of the things that you need. One of the things that it's going to outline is the advance notice that you get for providing the staffing request. But when you get the contract, you go ahead and set up your staffing for the contract at the beginning, even alternates, even alternate security that you'll have to set, alternative security, that's what I was looking for, that you'll have to set up for people who don't show up. I'll show you how to you set all of that up in the beginning of your contract. And then
Hmm.
periodically you go back through and you restaff because people are not going to show up. They're going to prove themselves to be insufficient. Managers, supervisors, that thing's not going to work in some cases, and you'll have to restaff it. But in the very beginning, you staff it. So then in your mind, you don't need a lot of advance notice. And a lot of the events that they're going to have, they're public. So they're not like this civic center here. They have to give advance, at least 6 months in order for them to book it for an event. And let's say you come in at the beginning of the year or the middle of the year. No, they said they're going to award it by what they say, April, I think they said, or June. Okay, May. So that means half the year is already gone, but they have a schedule.
April 30th. Hmm.
They got a schedule of events that is going to show up. And when you accept the contract, you can create a stipulation that says that you need to have at least 60 days notice, advance notice for any event that's not already on the schedule. That makes sense?
Hmm.
So you can tell them the advance notice that you need.
Okay.
I just gave a lot of answers in one. I hope. Do I need to go back and make it more
No, because
legit?
blessings, I get to go back and watch the video again so I can break
Okay.
down all the answers. So we're
Okay.
good. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can tell you now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. If there is an emergency operations plan, then it would definitely need to be integrated into the operations for each event. Hmm. I've read something about that in the documentation. Let me go back because there's a thing you have to sign that kind of alludes to that, but it doesn't name it the emergency operations plan. I'm gonna go back and look because I think there is something that you have to sign stating that. Go back. The reason why I wanted to read this before you, because if there is an emergency operations plan, if there is a standard emergency operations plan that's in place, then it's yes, they're going to need you to implement that in your operations. Am I reading the question wrong? Because what I'm reading number three to say is it required for contract personnel to operate under the existing emergency operations plan that they may already have? or if they will need to create one to be integrated in the event. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Or will be the one that we have, or what we provide? Is there one already set in place to provide one?
Okay. So you want to make sure that you provide one. Even if
Mm-hmm.
there's one in place, you want to make sure you provide one because what's that going to do for your company's image?
Right. Make
So
us look stable.
that's
Mm-hmm.
right. So even if it's one in place, you still want to go ahead and provide one. That's if you get to the opportunity to provide the request for a proposal, if you get to that opportunity, that you want to already have that implemented. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And actually, it could speak to your company's experience and qualifications if you just go ahead
Because we
and
already have
state
one.
that you
Already
have
have one
one in
on.
there and put it in there. You know, it speaks to your suitability for the project, and it also speaks to your company's experience and qualifications that you even have one in place. Now, if you're providing the security, they may have magnometers. Um, but if you're providing the security, so they're just the facilities. Does that make sense?
Right, and we're providing the stuff too.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
reading that
That's
question
why
again.
when
I
you
understood it
go,
afterwards.
that's why when you okay, let's say you can use the civic center that's here. When you go down there, you don't always see all of that equipment that's there for you to go through, right? To pass through to
Mm-hmm.
get on the inside. Right. It's not always there. Because the company that's providing the security provides those essentials. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And remember, whenever you get a contract like this, if they happen to actually give you the contract, there's a certain deposit that they have to pay you up front. And that
Right, to
helps
be
you
able to
to pay
secure
for,
these things.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
mhm. Helps you to pay for whatever so understand that too. And that's not something you would actually buy. You could rent that per event. That's going to save you. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Okay. All right, performance meters and service level expectations that will be used to evaluate the contractor's success. They're going to tell you that if you actually get none of this is required for the statement of qualifications, but they're going to tell you that if you happen to actually get it and then they request a proposal, when they request for the proposal, they're going to have this in there. They'll have your performance metrics, the way that they're going to grade your company's performance level and what expectations they have. If we can get to that point, they'll have it in the documentation when they're requesting your proposal. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Okay. Now this last one.
Um,
CCA anticipate requiring dedicated on-site management personnel
yeah.
for events. And if so, supervisory structure. What supervisory structure is preferred? Now you tell them
What
what
is
supervisory
mm-hmm.
structure you're going to provide. Yeah. Which the supervisory structure that your company uses. That's for your standard of operations.
Right.
And yes, you will have on-site management personnel for events, whether they require it or not. That's going to be a provision that's going because that's going to also speak to your company's experience and suitability and stability. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They're excellent questions. You just want to know when to ask them.
I don't know. I guess you reading them out loud back to me made a difference. So.
Okay. Okay, so right here, submittal of questions and requests for clarifications. Questions about any aspect of the request for qualification capabilities. Any questions regarding the qualifications of capabilities or the project itself shall be submitted prior to the appropriate deadlines. So your questions would have been, they are adequate
But
because,
they're not for the statement of qualifications. I understand.
right, but it says even for the project. If you have questions, even for the project, it's on there
Okay.
that that would be the time to submit it. Um, well, good thing they put their email address on there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you come up with other questions that have to do with the project or the request for the qualifications, you see the email address there. You already had that.
Yes, I do.
Mhm. So even if you think of some more, those questions though, if somebody looks at them, they might think that you know what I mean?
Yes, and I don't want that. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, did we walk through enough for you to have the answers? Because if you don't have the
Yes.
answers, we still need to ask the question. Okay.
No, no, we
There's
got
no
the
stupid questions. We don't have the answer. But just in looking at them, we have the answers.
Mm-hmm. All right. I emailed him, and so I'm gonna email.
Hmm? See, they may come up with some questions, and we only have until tomorrow to get. You know what I mean?
They
The
may
people
come up
that
with
you're about to,
questions.
yeah, the people you're about to solicit for help to help you, they might have some questions, and we
Right.
only have few
Tomorrow.
little bit to, let me look through here and see. I'm just going through trying to see, based on what they're asking for, what questions we might ask. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. This is, it seems simple, but you know how they're always looking for more stuff than what I don't like that either. It's bureaucracy. Oh, well, you didn't say, well, you didn't ask for that, huh? I gave you what you asked for. Oh, see that. Let's see. What I'm doing is going through here to see if there are other questions that I might have.
Mm-hmm.
Should have, let me see. I should have emailed them. That's old. They probably not gonna do that no more. I had some old stuff for some contracts that we had gotten awarded when we were in Georgia. That is probably not a requirement any longer, considered the internet. Hmm. I don't see any additional questions. Let's see. And now net stability. Hmm. I'm coming, Cicely. I'm just perusing through, just making sure I'm not missing anything.
Oh, you're fine. Doing the same. Mm.
Staff training. That one right there. Experience with large public events. Staff training, certification protocol. Staff training, certification protocols. I had thought about you reaching out to some of the security companies here, but to partner with them probably would be a good idea, except for
I know we talked about that last time.
probably be a good idea, but um some people are not ethical. So, it's really too late for them to be trying to get the contract for themselves. So,
Mhm.
uh-huh. That's an idea because they would have the certification protocols. Mm, it's an idea. So I'm reading a couple of things here. And the staff training and certification. Mhm. There's one where you could partner with them. One is, let's say you assembled the staff, you know, they would be contract labor, but you assemble the staff. And one of the prerequisites was that they go through staff training. You could engage the person from one of the local security companies, specifically maybe the one that does the security for our church, to do the training for those people that you contract, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, here we go. Here's the picture. You got awarded the contract, or you got awarded the subcontract. You are now going through the Georgia Labor Department. You've already given them the description of what you're looking for in order to fulfill this staffing. They're now sending you applicants. You're meeting with them virtually, right? You're helping them to understand that it's going to be contract labor, meaning that, when they work, they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
They're responsible for their own taxes and all of that, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
contract labor, um, which makes them their own. They're like a business, so to speak, a security individual with security credentials, because you're going to need to staff people who already have credentials. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Already have certain certifications that's in place. Then you can speak to, well, matter of fact, you want to go ahead and speak to someone at that security company in leadership to see if you can contract them to train the people that you staff, to train them. And if there are any certifications that they can provide them through training them, you're going to pay them a fee for training your folks. You pay them a
Mm-hmm.
fee per student
Mm-hmm.
or per group or however they want to do it. And for that training, you want them to issue a certification that those people have been trained for security for large facilities. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
That helps you meet the staff training and certification protocol that's going to be required under that evidence of capability. So you may not want to use them to partner with you to actually staff the job. And then you might, but you may want to start with them training the people that you staff and then issuing a certification. And so in the statement of capabilities, of statement of qualifications, we can list that we have um, staffing training that takes place and certification protocols that comes forth from that training. So you just want them, to train the staff that you put together.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I'm still trying to feel out whether or not you should talk to them about, because if they partner with you to staff it, that's great, because then both of you companies can work it together. But I can see them, I've done this before, and I can see them trying to just take over the whole thing and you not be involved at all, because they see themselves as having the security certifications and the whole staff and whole company, and you not having it. So
Mm-hmm.
they would just, that's why you don't want to get them involved in that way.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because you would think you have an opportunity and they would just come in and take it, or yeah, you don't want to do that. It's so many things. I don't even want to say on camera some of the other things that could take place. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not a good idea to partner with them to service the account. But it is a good idea to partner with them to train the
For
staff
staff and staff
that you
to train
hire.
and certify.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's going to be a really good idea to do that. Okay. Because see, what the state is looking for, they want to make sure that you as a vendor can maintain order and professionalism under pressure. So they're going to want to see that training to see how you know that you can do that. Have your people been trained to do that? Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. Does that make sense?
It does. Mhm.
That's again, that's under the capabilities and experience.
Mhm.
Let me see. I still haven't seen any additional questions that.
I was thinking of what had me pause, a way to use veterans. A lot of them have, of course, the experience. Also, a lot of them already have come with a lot of certifications
They
already from the job
do.
that they've
They
done
do. Yeah.
already, and that be a way because they can't.
Well,
do too much work.
when you go through the Georgia Department of Labor, they may have some veterans. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you want to make it. That's one of the prerequisites that the person be a veteran. That's one of the prerequisites that they be a veteran. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Military veteran, because they're going to automatically come with certain training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Certain training and a certain mindset.
yeah, it's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
training has to do with
With the mind, yeah. Mm-hmm.
with their control.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Just make a note. I don't know if there are any retired veteran organizations in Georgia that that because a lot of them work security. A lot of them work security. And that's another reason why I wanted to use your dad. It's his credentials that you're going to be using.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing. You're going to be using his credentials. He doesn't have to work it at all,
Mm-hmm.
but his credentials showing the training that he's had. That's going to work very well. That's going to work to your advantage. Okay. All right. Well, let me get on my portion of this. But again, please do go into the school community. Matter of fact, I'm going to load this. Is it safe to load this in the school community, this recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to load this into the school community.
I'm typing in there now. I have
And
been
then
in the
let's see.
multi-million
We
dollar
might have
opportunity.
time. I tell you what, we can log we when we once we log off here, we can log into the school community and have a real quick conversation in there.
Okay.
Hmm. That will go out to them. And that's the one we probably want to send through the to the because you can only do like one of those email things, I think like once every 2 or 3 days. I may have already exhausted it. um, we'll see. You may be able to post it as
That's what I said. I posted on
mhm,
mine.
mhm. Yeah, that would definitely be a wonderful opportunity. Mm, mm, yeah. So, here we go. Mhm. This is good. We were able to get a lot done. I'm so you know what I was doing on my end. I was perusing through because they don't change a lot over years, but I know they've changed a lot since we've done anything with them. Because that was when internet was just coming out in the early 2000, and I do mean early 2000. Stability signals that the vendor can meet contractual obligations without interruption, even during peak in demand, unexpected circumstances. Yeah, that's a big one. Which is why you want to have an excellent alternate program. All right. Is there anything else? I'm sorry I took up the entire time with this.
No, this was important because I don't. No, I'm sorry. I know you had a plan, but thank you for taking the time for this.
Hmm.
Um,
Let's see. One more thing I want to see because I don't think your financial statements are required for this. So that gives us time to walk through certain things that we're going to need to walk through for that. Mhm. A big portion of your, when we get to the financial statements, the big portion of your company's value is going to be your E&O insurance, your errors and omission insurance. Okay,
okay.
like our company carries E&O. It's I think $500,000 indemnity, or is it's 500,000 slash $1 million in errors and omissions insurance, right? You want to cover, so you would have to have E&O insurance, something like mm, maybe 2 million in the front and 5 million in the back. It's got to be substantial enough so that if there's some loss, that the E&O insurance can cover the loss. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That would be what you would present at the time of when they request your, we can mention it. So we can mention it in this statement of qualifications just to show that you've got some type of stability there, but you don't actually have to have the policy or the binder until when they go through the finalist notification of the finalists and you're part of the people that they request a proposal for, then you would need to have the actual insurance binder. And it's not very expensive at all because it's something that you can pay monthly. And if you purchase a policy and you're paying it monthly and you realize, oh, I don't need this coverage, then you can just cut it off. You can just
Hmm.
call them and cancel it and just let them know I was getting it for a particular bid. We didn't get the bid, so I don't need it. So here, um, under stability, they say, let me read this out loud for you. I know you've already read it. Briefly describe the history and growth of your firm. Provide general information about the firm's personal resources, including disciplines and numbers of employees, locations and staffings of office and temporary staffing levels. Has the firm, we already talked about this. Anyway, have you suffered any losses in the past 10 years in the amount of $250,000 or more? So see, that's like a baseline for them in terms of liability or loss. You see that
Hmm.
baseline of
Yes.
250,000?
Hmm.
Ours is 500,000, which is why we have to have a 500,000 in the front and a million in the back. So I would still say, if nothing else, you want to do more than, because the job itself is requiring more
Right.
than
Right, right,
Uh-huh.
right.
So you want to, if you do 2 million in the front, 5 million in the back, that's gonna cover and let them see that you have enough liability coverage to sustain any kind of loss. Because see, they're asking about it here in under
Hmm.
stability and resources. So that's an important, but just keep it in mind. Errors and emissions insurance. You can do general liability or errors and emissions. And the company you want to use is Byberg. Byberg is excellent.
Yeah, I
Be,
remember I have that written down.
okay, all right, good. I
Hmm.
didn't remember if we had gone over that. That's a real important factor. Okay, so looks like we've pretty much gone over everything. We should stop here and because I don't know what your time is like, and I'm sure we've gone over our time.
No, because now we're about to get on to the school, so I can put it in
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can do like 5 minutes or so. We just want to make sure that they know what's up. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll meet you on the school platform.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Well, okay. Let's see if we can log out of here.